Hello ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to be putting together a DIY Christmas tree kit from Banggood. Last year I purchased this one and I put it together. I did a video of this thing, and the issue is with the video, I had 3 cameras. I had complaints on some of the soldering videos I did because of the fact I had 3 cameras and it was really hard to see the solder points. I did try the best as I can on order to show it. This year I came prepared with a Logitech BRIO 4K camera above me, facing straight down. That way I can show a full view of everything. But I ordered 2 more of these, the exact same order, so Banggood has actually changed it up a little bit from this one here. What they did with the new one is they changed the pegs. They're metal pegs and they're about half the width. It doesn't come with a battery holster. The new one actually comes with a proper switch. This one was actually supposed to have a side switch that comes out a little bit, except for it never did come with one, and I had to add my own, unfortunately. But yeah, this one comes with a proper switch that comes out. You just push it in and out. The tree is the exact same thing. The printing on the new one is a little bit smaller, so it's a little hard to see. But yeah, see, this one says A and B right there. I also want to mention that I am doing another video review of the TS100 here. So this is going to be the soldering iron I'm going to be using. This video here is actually going to be kind of a reference to the video I'm working on with this. But I usually use this soldering iron right here on order to do all my soldering. I've been using it for so many years. I'm going to put it away for now, and I'm going to use this. So let's go ahead and open this bag up. Take everything out of it. So we have screws here for the case. This here is the case. Put that off to the side. We don't need that. I have purchased 2 of these things. One went to my sister, and this one here is going to be for the video itself. So I know what to expect when I'm going to be soldering this thing. Well, let's go ahead and open this up. Take everything out of it. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is sorting everything out. Okay, so this is the layout that I got here. We have 6 capacitors. We got nut screws, female micro connector here. We got a switch, some resistors at the top right here. We got some LEDs and 6 transistors here. They should all be the same value, which I'll show you soon. The 2 trees and the bottom base and a cord. That should be everything. So this is the reference chart we are going to use on order to put everything in the correct location. So we have resistors at the top here for board A. There is quantity 4, and that's a 100 ohm resistor right there. Same thing goes with board B. So there's 3, so that's 7 resistors we got to make sure that we have. Same thing with this here. We have 4.7K resistor. We need 3 there and 3 down here, so that's 6 we got to make sure that we have. Capacitors, we need a 47 unifarad and we need 6 of them, so there's 3 here and 3 down here. Also at the bottom here we got transistors, and this is 9014. We need to make sure that we have enough for that as well. Okay, now this only says that we need 1, but the board itself needs 6, so make sure that you got 6 of those. These right here will tell you exactly where these resistors go. So 100 ohm resistor goes in slot R2, R4, R6, R7, and same thing goes with the rest. So these are what we need to know: quantity, number, type, and what type it is. The rest of this stuff on the side here, we don't need to worry about that. As you see from looking at that chart there, we have a 47 unifarad capacitor here, and the others are the exact same as well. For the transistors, as you see, this says 9014 right there, and it's the exact same as what that schematic at the bottom says we need for type. Make sure they all say that. So you're going to need a multimeter in order to check the resistance of these, and if you really wanted to, you can also check the caps to make sure that, or the capacitors. Caps says short there, make sure that they are what they are. Ranges should be around like 47, sometimes maybe just a little bit under. High maybe about 56. So roughly the range around there, they're fine. And we are going to test one of these resistors here. It doesn't matter what direction, just test right here, see what is what. So this is labeled as 4.7K. So best thing to do is right on here 4K. Then you know what it is. But we're going to make sure all of them are same value. Same thing goes with these resistors. Just test them as well. Should be roughly about 100 ohm. As you can see right there. That's in acceptable range. So these are hundreds as well. Perfect. Now just go through every single one of them. So I'm going to be testing all these LEDs to make sure that they work as well. The longer lead, again, is positive. The shorter lead is negative. And if your leads are the exact same size, and on the edge, this little lip right here, the flat side is negative. You'll feel it, and you can actually somewhat see it. So I have a board here I'm going to be testing all my LEDs with. I have 3 volts coming into this. It just makes it easier just to test them through here. That one's fine. The next one to see if it's fine. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. There's a reason why I test these, and I will show you here right away. So we got 2 bad ones up here, and we will test this one. It doesn't work. This just stays red. I could push a little more through there too, but it doesn't work. So you get why I'm doing this. Now, Banggood are usually really good at giving you extra LEDs, so you don't have to worry too much with it. Okay, so these are now done. There is 42 of them here, and I only need 36, so Banggood definitely gives you quite a lot. Now, there's 2 that were bad in this kit, and there's 2 that were bad in the other kit. So we know the capacitors are good, the transistors are correct, we know that we have the right amount of resistors up here. We know we have working LEDs here. We have all the parts here that we need. We are good to go to put this thing together. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to put in the 100 ohm resistors right here. And that says type 100R at the top there. It says number R2, R4, R6, and R7. So R2, let's have a look at this board right here. And we are looking at R2 right here. R4 is this one right here, R6 right here, and R7 is at the top here. Now resistors don't actually have a direction. You can put them in any way that you want. And we need 3 of them, so we'll pull 3 out of here. Oh, no, we need 4 of them. And we'll just bend them like that. I'm kind of picky about direction, although it doesn't really matter. Just by looking at the stripes on the resistors, maybe one might be green on the right, and if I gotta put another one in the exact same direction, I'll have green on the right. I don't know, I'm picky like that. It really doesn't matter. Any old way that you put it in there, it's perfectly fine. A lot of people say that you shouldn't bend them like this because it makes it a little hard to get them out, but I do it anyways. That's how I like doing it. As you see, they sit in there. They don't fall out. Actually, a little more precise than my other soldering iron. All right, I'll actually let you have a look at this for yourself. All right, so let's have a look at the solder ends here. Soldering iron does a pretty good job. It's pretty fast at it. It usually takes me quite some time, like a couple of minutes to heat up the other one there, and then I usually just leave it on, and then it gets extremely hot over time, and I'm just worried that I'm eventually going to kill it that way. So I'm impressed with that. But anyways, this is board A. This is how it should look with the 100 ohm resistors. There's only 4 of them: R2, R4, R6, R7. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to snip off these ends. We don't need them anymore. They're all off, and we will work on board B now. Now we only need 3, don't we? Yes, we do. So we need R2, R4, and R6 on this board. Same as before. It says R4, R2, and R6 over here. I will show you a close-up when I'm done putting them in. So again, board B, R4, R2, and R6 up here. Just solder them into place. Let's wait for that to reach up the temperature. It's almost there. Rises up pretty quick. Yeah. So you can see, starting to level out a little. So let's go ahead and try it now. Wow. I don't like how small it is, but I'm actually kind of liking this soldering iron. As you can see on board B, R4, R6, and R2 is populated with the 100 ohm resistors. And I snipped off the leads on the back there. Everything looks good. Now we can continue on to the 4.7K resistors, these fellas right here. So board A needs 3 and board B needs 3. We are looking at R1, R3, and R5 slots that they need to go in. And we will do that on board A. R1, R3, R5. All right, let's see if this thing picks back up again. Yep, it's going back up the temperature. It was sitting about 100 degrees Celsius. Now it's going straight back up again. That's nice. I gotta admit, This thing is starting to grow on me, and I thought I was going to hate it. This one is now populated. This is board A. We are going to work on board B now. Put 3 of these in, and then I'm going to show you both boards after. Okay, so board B needs 4.7K resistors in R1, R3, and R5. Although I can just look at the board here. You can see R1, R5, and R3 right here. So the left one here is board A and board B. As you can see, that's how it's supposed to look. You can see that I'm very picky. You can see the little green mark right there. Same thing here and on this side. It doesn't matter what direction it goes, but I did the exact same on this board as well. I just want it to look good like that. It doesn't matter though. I'm actually starting to fall in love with that soldering iron. Okay, so we're going to put the LEDs into these boards now. The positive side is the top through hole right here, and same thing on the other side as well. You can actually see a little plus mark right there indicating that's the positive side. We aren't going to put LEDs in these two down here. Same thing on this side and on the other board as well. We want to keep them unpopulated for now, and I'll show you why after. The LEDs, there is a direction. Long lead is the positive, small is negative, and also you can indicate that by looking at the flat end right here, which means that's the negative side. So there you go. Now, there is one other thing that you need to know is when you put the LED in, long lead top, there is a mark, 2 marks actually, on this LED. See them right here? This LED will stop when it hits that point. And then what we can do is bend the LED, bend it outwards. So you can see how I have it bent right there, right? Straight out of the board like that. Now do that to all of them. So this is board A. As you see, I populated the slots right here with these LEDs, and I bent it where it showed the marks on the LEDs. I left these 4 out. I haven't put any solder on here yet, but as you can see, long lead faces to the top of the tree. Now, same thing goes with this board. I left the 4 in the bottom out, but I populated the rest. Okay, I put my C910 camera up close here. That way you can kind of see the soldering. I'll do one real quick. 200. It rises pretty quick, and it's only at roughly around 20 volts. Okay. So this is the B board, and what I did so far, they're fairly straight, as you can see right there. You can always bend them a little straighter if you really wanted to. Everything's done on that side. On this side. So yeah, that's exactly what both boards should look like. Okay, so we're going to be putting in these transistors next. So you can see it's round on one side and flat on the other. And you can see exactly where they got to go. Because it shows the same imprint on the board right here. Round on one side and flat on this side. So that indicates exactly what direction it's got to go. This is board A. So you can see the exact direction they got to go. And they're only in just a bit. All you have to do now is just solder the ends and just snip off the leads. This is board B. So yeah, go ahead and solder it. So this is how it's supposed to look. This is the A board. Same thing with the B board. And that's it for that part. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to put 2 capacitors in these holes right here. Now there is a direction. As you see, there's a plus sign here and a plus sign here. On the positive, negative, positive, negative, negative, positive. So we're going to populate these 2, and on the B board, we are also going to populate these 2. Now, these capacitors aren't going to go straight in and facing straight up. They're actually going to be bent down this direction. Now, these capacitors has a direction. As you see, that's the negative side. There's a little minus right there. And that's also the small lead. Positive lead, go right here. And then down like that. You see negative there. Positive on that side. Long lead, positive. And we're only going to bend this thing down like that. I'm going to do a little better job of that though, but we're also going to do the same to this one as well. So positive, that direction, positive side, negative. So the 2 negatives face each other. And on the other board, it's the exact same too. Positive facing out and negative facing in. So this is how it should look on board B, facing straight down. Same thing with board A. Now, the reason why you got to face them down, I'll show you here real quick. When you go to slide this thing on, you'll see right there, it just misses everything. If you try to put it the other direction, which you'll see right here, bam, it won't go on because those two are colliding with each other. So it only goes in one way. If you did get it in the other way, it doesn't really matter. You don't have to worry about what side the board's got to be. But we can go ahead and face this one down as well. For the other one, we don't have to. It can face straight up. But I'm going to bend it down as well just to make it look the same as the others here. So I did put them all on, so you can see it like that. I just want to make sure that it doesn't collide before I snip these ends off. And that one's colliding because that's the wrong direction to how I have it all set up. Just missing. Yeah, perfect. So we are now going to connect this thing to the base. I stopped the video right here because I skipped way too far ahead. I was going to solder the base onto the tree and completely forgot about putting the switch and the micro connector onto the base first. I recommend doing that. So I'm going to move this video ahead to where I put that on, and then I'm going to move it back to this point where we'll actually put the base onto the tree. So it's going to be a little bit weird, but it's something I completely missed when I recorded this video, and hopefully this will help you out a little bit more. Next, what I'm going to do is put the switch in here and the micro B connector here. It's up to you if you want to put this in first before you put the base. If you've already followed this far, it's kind of too late now, isn't it? Nope. That's why I'm making you do it now. But as long as it goes in, and this one's bent. See, it's bent right there. So I'm going to have to rebend that back. Joys of Banggood and their packages. Alright, that looks way better now. Hopefully it'll actually work. Oh yeah, it slipped right on in there. And just put some force on it until it's completely flat with the board. All you have to do is just put some solder there and in those corners as well. Might as well put this switch in here. Even it's pretty tough to get in there. There we go. It's in there. It's completely flush with the board. So you can see right there. So yeah, just put solder on that and on the switch itself. I think it's fairly fast. Huh. It overshoots just a tad. See how well this does. Put some solder on the tip there. Seemed like it did a pretty good job there. A little more. No, that's caused bridging. Can't have bridging. That's a big no-no. Doesn't look like it's bridged now. Alright, I'm going to check to make sure there's no bridging down here. Let's have a look. See that? That looks pretty nice. So no bridging there at all. Now, since the USB mini has been added to the bottom base and the switch, we can now go back to this position in the video and put the bottom base onto the tree. And just let you look at the tree real quick. So we have a positive end here. And that one's also a positive. The other two are negatives. And you can see the positive on these two right here and negative on those two. So make sure the positive there. And we want to try to make sure that this stays flat together like that. I'm going to have to put this on here because if you lay it flat on the table, this actually comes out a bit. We're going to put solder on all these corners. Let's make sure that it stays flat. That way the tree doesn't look like it's tilting or anything. So yeah, just put solder here, there, and same thing on the other sides as well. Don't worry about the bottom. Yeah, let's see how well this soldering iron does, because it's going to use a lot of solder in the bottom here. Not bad. Okay, so now since we put solder all the way around here and not in the bottom, we need to put solder in the middle here. See those two holes all the way around. Make sure you get that as well. I have solder on all these ends now, all the way around. Next, what I'm going to do is put the switch in here. All right, we finally caught up to where we were putting in the switch, and we're going to skip past this part because you've already done it. And then we are going to test this and make sure it works before we populate these ends. So I just want to quickly look over this. We put capacitors in here. Everything's in there. Some transistors, resistors, some LEDs. Everything looks good there. It's all soldered together. Nothing's missing other than just that LED up here, the two down here, and on the other side and here as well, which I'm completely ignoring for now. It doesn't matter. But okay, we can go ahead and pull the cord out and test it and make sure it works. Just plug you in and see. And we are not getting anything. I'm kind of wondering if I do have to put that LED in there. I don't really want to yet, but okay, let's put them in and try it from there. Not that big of a deal. Yeah, looks like it's gonna need to be in there. This one here, don't populate the very bottom one, just populate the top one. Okay, this thing should now work. Again, I left that unpopulated, just the corner ones, because I'm going to have them facing this direction. Should work now. I don't see why it won't. And turn it on. There it is. Ooh, look at the pretty lights. She look pretty. Okay, so next one we're going to do is the top LED. So you see the long lead and the positive through hole. We'll put that in there. Goes in like that. And we'll try to bend it up at the same time. It's not perfect. I do want to note, make sure the LED is touching the top of the tree. As I have it in this image, it will only get in the way of the case. I guess you could always be creative and try to make it perfect. Okay, so LED, 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 LED. We're going to face them all that direction. Oh, frick, I touched that. First time I burnt myself on that soldering iron. Okay, so let's put LED facing this way. Slide you right in. Now it won't go in all the way, but it doesn't have to as long as it's in there most of the way. Okay, so this is how I have it set up. The LEDs are facing this direction. There's a reason for that though, is you can't have it facing out over here or it's just going to push up against the plastic acrylic. But yeah, just solder it in that way. Now the tree is 100% complete. What I'm going to be doing now is putting these right here, these little fellas, on here. And then put the nut facing up here. So it should look like that. Just repeat it on all the sides. So that's how it should look. All right, now it's time for the case. Now, I actually got to give Banggood or whoever made these props because they're finally getting rid of that stupid paper for plastic. You can actually peel this off without it ripping. So I'm really glad for that. So this is the bottom. As you can see, there's some holes right here. That's where this will actually butt up to. So this is the bottom. These will be the sides and the front and back part here. So we'll put one of the sides on first and then work on one of these ends here. Put that on and we'll just continue that all the way around. So we'll take the bottom off first. Yeah, this stuff is much better than that paper. And we want to grab those screws, which are located right here. All right, so let's take one of these off. Okay, so this is the feet down here, and this is the top. So make sure that this curve mark is the bottom, like so. This is the bottom of the foot. Goes on like this. And you can see where the screw goes in there, and the nut. Now, I have found grabbing a screwdriver with a magnet holding the nut and slowly sliding it into place will be very helpful. Screw goes on here, like so. Then we will put the nut on it. And we will put you on. Kind of snug it up just slightly. You don't want to over tighten this. This is pretty brittle stuff. There, as long as it just slightly holds it, it's all good. So that's exactly how it should go. And now we will put one of these other sides on, one with a hole. And you can see the feet on that as well. And here's where the magnet on a screwdriver comes in handy. You can slowly slide it into place. So what we're gonna do now is, since we got that one square little hole, looks like they screwed up there in the corner, but whatever. We're gonna grab the other piece here. So it should look like this. We got one side with a hole right here, and a cover here, and a cover here. So we'll just put screw here and at the bottom. So I guess I could probably put the top on, and the tree can just slide right in there. Let's have a look. That little LED light is kind of in the way. And this is why I mentioned the LED light needs to be flush with the tree. So I guess I'll have to bend you a bit more. There we go. I guess it's going to have to do. It's not perfect. It looks really ugly. But I could always just replace it. I really don't care. It just fits. Scraping along inside. So the top is now on. I'm just kind of quickly wiping out the inside of this thing. There's no fingerprints, it's just dust and whatnot. All right, so now what I can do is this tiny little square hole will actually be for the button right there. So it just slides right on in. And then you line up the bottom holes here, because we're going to have to put these screws in now. That would be the bigger ones. So I snug them up. There we go. The tree is now in there. I just have to put the last piece on. And that would be this one right here, which will go right like that. And it's good to go. Done. Awesome. This thing is now done. It's all put together. I'm just going to plug it in. You can see it just fits perfectly like that. And turn it on. Oh, could help if you turn the bench power supply on. And yeah. All right, that's it. We just have some screws and nuts left over, some LEDs. Well, after making this tree and testing out the soldering iron for the first time, I'm very, very pleased with it. It works really well. I didn't expect it to work this well. I didn't like the idea that this was extremely small, where it doesn't have that much mass in order to heat up things properly, but it seemed to work pretty well. Although I just used it for this tiny little tree here. Time will tell how well this thing really will work. For the tree, it's pretty. It's a great little gift to give to somebody, like I have done twice now. Great to have on the desk if you're not annoyed by the flashing lights. It's simple to solder together if you have the right tools to do it. At least this one came with a proper button to turn on and off. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the tutorial and a bit interested in the TS100. And I'll see you on the next one.